814-5890 or email us at tribesmartialarttalkradio@gmail.com. All right, we're back in. We've been discussing a lot since we've done our shows, and we first came in and we talked about Bruce Lee a little bit on our first show, and then we came back and we talked about the level of mixed martial arts and their impact. But we got to break it down a little more. We got to talk about the kids because we don't want them to feel left out because everybody's in this and we want them to have their views too. So in speaking about them, we want to talk about what do we think is the best martial art for kids to be in right now, or is there a best martial art for them to be in? And the controversy versus traditional martial arts such as karate, taekwondo, versus MMA. So, with my two co-hosts here, I'd like some of you guys' opinion. Now, some people think it's real violent, for the kids to be in the MMA type sport right now versus traditional karate or taekwondo, where they felt like it was more point fighting. They felt like it was more contained, and that the rules just kind of stood up a little better. And I think the main part about it that it wasn't a lot of contact. It was pointed, and everything was kind of stopped. Versus now we've got kids that are really getting into mixed martial arts, and they're really taking over. The sport used to have something like maybe 10,000 kids in it or something, and now it's growing like crazy. And now really the kids are coming in to where within our next generations, all these guys that are starting so young, they're bringing it in that's almost like the next wave of, like, instead of playing sandlot football or basketball or whatever, or going to play, soccer or something, you have a lot of kids jumping into here now.
Right.
So, I don't know, some of you guys' ideas, what do you think?
Well, the kids of the future, they always have been. And they're the driving force of everything that is being done now. And like martial arts or even like telephones these days, they change every year or two. The kids now that are coming up, my concern is, are they getting the disciplines, the integrities, the fundamentals of practicing with another person that makes them more forgiving and more human to each other, versus are they actually becoming more violent? I don't know. LA, do you think that a young man, 8 through 18, growing up in high school these days with everything that's going on, everything from beating up the school teachers, bringing guns to to school, those type of things, do you think that they need to be doing something as physical as the MMA style of martial arts or classical? Do you have opinion there?
It has a lot to do with not only the student but the instructor. If I had to answer it right now, I would say just traditional martial arts is best, because they're learning life lessons, they're learning control, they're learning restraint, they're learning other life lessons, not just how to punch and hit and how to submit somebody. Learning all those things is wonderful.
It's effective.
It's effective, but you have to learn that that has to be tempered with respect for your opponent.
Exactly.
It has to be. You have to learn, not to have an ego. Some of the martial arts, MMA doesn't cater to that. They just let your ego run rampant, and a 12, 15, 16-year-old young man that knows how to defend himself as well as you do in MMA lacks the restraint, I think, in most cases. Yes, there are some cases where a young 16-year-old man that knows MMA will back down from a fight because he knows that he could really hurt the guy he's fighting with. And there's no sense in, I'll just walk away, I'll be the bigger man, there's no need to deal with this. But that's far and few between, in my opinion.
I agree to that. Just kind of just stepping out on both sides, pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
Supporters say that it encourages discipline, teaches children how to win as well as how to lose.
Right.
But then your critics, they say it's barbaric. There's a lot of kids out there, that are fighting that don't even wear gear. They don't have any headgear.
Is that MMA you're talking about? Yeah.
They don't have any headgear on, and they're learning all these, different techniques. And then out here, you have co-ed. Until you're about 12 years old, you got guys and girls, going against each other. And then after 12, everybody has to kind of go with their own gender. Okay. But, the aspect of getting in here and, you're looking at this and you're seeing kids kind of come in and pattern themselves after the UFC. I mean, from haircuts to slogans on their shirts.
Right.
I train hard to take you out.
Right.
Different stuff like this.
But there's a lot of conditioning that goes in with the MMA. So even in conditioning, that's somebody who's inspired to get up, possibly at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's going to do things that the other guy's not going to do to learn how to become the best. So already,
but on the kid's regimen, he's not going to be pushed that hard. I mean, as far as getting up, there may be some parents, because there are a lot of parents in here behind their kids that and I think you have to watch out and not live your life through your child.
Okay.
And get up and really push them out here, into doing, a lot of stuff like there are pro fighters at some point. But again, a lot of them are training hard and they're going to a lot of top schools and they're getting out here but they're worried about them, being so little and physical because of the rules. I mean, there's some people that say, get out there and say, well, you can't throw this or you can't throw that.
Right.
But then there's a lot of them, they're throwing knees and elbows and stuff just like the UFC, and they're seeing that. And as far as attitudes, you come in there with a spiked attitude because you're going to win. Mm-hmm. So does that really teach a kid camaraderie, or does it put him in beast mode? Can he turn on beast mode for a fight and then after that fight come right back down off that, and just be gentle again?
Yeah,
I don't know that. So it's a lot in there, the pros and cons of both of it. I mean, I think honestly, for me, I think when starting off a kid, it's great to start them off in Taekwondo or karate or something like that, where they have a chance to really sit back and learn something. And we want to keep those attributes in that we always talk about the respect and the honor and learn to be civil, camaraderie. Exactly.
Right.
All those things. So,
right.
And that we've always seen traditionally.
Right.
But, but the MMA thing, it's no joke. I mean, like I said, a lot of kids are getting in. I mean, you have a lot of girls that are getting in, and these girls, even though they're going against guys, and you're looking up saying, well, hey, this guy is stronger than this girl or whatever, but girls are technical, and at a young age, they're very technical. So, I mean, just giving them credit, too. I mean, they're really picking up in this thing, so it's getting really wide out there. Some places are even giving scholarships, for this. So,
speaking of scholarships, I do believe they ought to go ahead and implement the schools as a training and part of their curriculum, their PE these days. I do think that it would be good to have a martial arts inside of it. Okay, because it does. It gives all the practicalities, the fundamentals of your skills and talents, the exercise that you're going to need to be functional and efficient. Again, not to be etiquettes to death, but it does give the etiquette of training when you're dealing with somebody who you have to learn something, a skill or a technique with that may be dangerous. That applied to them, they're going to feel that same pain level of the level of the technique. And so you have to have that etiquette of when to release or how to get into it, so as not to cause damages, breaks, and those type of things to each other.
Right.
I'd love to see that implemented into the high school levels.
But I think that can get real tight. But like you said, the high school level, because in the kids, again, it's hard to teach them to turn something on and turn it off. And and then what you teach a kid is what he'll do. And some people mock a kid and say, hey, well, this kid is bad. And well, why is this kid bad? Because he did so and so and so and so. But then you go back and you track and you find out, well, he was taught to do that. Mm-hmm. So at some point he was doing what he was taught. So it's like saying, again, you put a loaded gun in a kid's hand and you tell him to go out with it, and he does something with it. Well, now you want to mock him, but you were the adult, and you put that in his hand. So you should have been responsible for that. Hey, but right quick, I'm going to step off a minute. I'd like to give a quick shout out to everyone listening to us, and I want to give a special shout out to our friends out there in Canada and Finland that are listening to us.
Right.
And also, I want to talk about Langsong Traders, martial arts supply store here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, for all your needs. So if you ever need anything, we want you to go out that way. The number there is 817-261-0065 and ask for Tang Hua and tell her Will sent you. I just want to get that in right quick. Jump back on our kid thing.
Okay. Now, what you were saying, I think a lot of what you said rings true, especially, and we talked about this before the show started, about the parents and or whoever the sifu, the master, the sensei. If you're a sensei and you're walking around smacking people in the head because they're doing something wrong, or you're pushing people down, or you're being a bully, and then when a 12-year-old kid starts bullying people and you can't figure out why.
Exactly.
I mean, he does what he sees.
He does what he sees.
You have to talk the talk.
That's right.
You have to walk it also.
And definitely walk the walk.
Yeah, you can't be a bully and then tell, you can't bully anybody.
That's right.
That's not right.
That's right. Because when people have asked me, like we had a topic and someone was asking about what school to go to, or what's a good school to go to, or whatever, what to look for when you go to a school. And that's one of the things. How is that teacher? How is he with your kids? What is his rapport with them? How does he put out his information? And does he talk to them or does he talk at them?
It makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
And it'd be good advice to even go yourself, participate with your child.
Definitely.
And see how they instruct, not only
that was one of the
child, but
that was one of the points
also.
I picked up on the last time I told him. I said, because people go a lot of times and they'll ask the child, well, what's the length of this class? And they, well, it starts at such and such and it's over at so-and-so. Okay, I'll drop you off and I'll be back at so-and-so to get you.
Right.
But I'm like, no, that's your child. That's commodity.
Right.
You go in there and you see what your child is getting.
Exactly.
Especially when we're talking about something that's going to be physical. You want to know how they're getting that, how it's being produced to them, and how they're accepting it.
That was my main reason for training with my son, is, I wanted to do it anyway, but I wanted to be there, if my son does something wrong, I want to be the one there laying hands on him.
That's right.
And correcting him.
That's right.
I don't want the instructor. They're not babysitters.
That's right. That's right. I mean, that's a great point too.
You are not babysitters at all.
That's right.
I should be able to say something, and that child does it. If he doesn't, I don't have a whole lot of recourse other than sitting him off to the side. Whereas mom and dad, hey,
that's right.
Can I handle this, or are you going to handle it?
Good point.
But still, I mean,
Good point.
martial arts that age starts giving you a couple of give areas that's going to help you throughout your whole life. You have the training that's going to be just the repetitions of doing something and becoming more and more proficient at it. And so you may learn the endurance of doing something and doing it fine. It shows the respect of yourself. That's the outcome of it, of doing anything, that whether you're building a car, whether you're playing some type of music, and you start doing it better and better and better. That's the respect of yourself, because you can continually practice it and it'll become better. My questions is, will martial arts help you speak better? If you have a martial arts training in high school, maybe you have more confidence. The development of your confidence may allow you to speak better, to definitely give you information about your diet, to help you control your diet, because you may have to lose weight or gain strength to do a particular technique. If you have an inspiration to do, you want to lose weight or gain strength, you have those avenues of doing that. I'm more, my thing is, does it make a better teacher if that person comes out and they learn that they're proficient at something, instead of blasting somebody when they know that they can? Do they have more patience to take with that as a peer, in school, to take that next man or young woman and help develop them, for something they've already encountered, and that type of thing.
Well, now, talking still about these kids, though, have you ever seen the Ruffalo brothers?
Wow.
The Ruffo brothers.
Right.
Okay, these two little guys, you probably seen a lot of tap out commercials. The two little brothers, they wear mohawks, and they're represented by Tap Out. They train with a lot of great guys, from Randy Couture to a lot of schools out there in Vegas, even to the boxing and stuff. And these two kids are phenomenal, and they call them the future of MMA. And if you see them, they have their stuff down. But one thing I respect about them, and as being out there, honestly, when you see these guys, you'll know they're a step above. And I look at them as the two elite kids that are out there, coming up for MMA as children. But I watch these guys when they go to tournaments, and they go to grappling tournaments. They're great punchers, they're great kickers, but you don't see them in that aspect. Or I've never seen them, fight in that aspect. They're always going to something that's a little more common, a little more technical. They'll go for the jits or just basic wrestling. They'll go to a lot of tournaments like that, and just working their craft there. And I think that keeps their head level a lot. They're not out here punching on other kids, because they're dynamic. They're really dynamic. Yeah, but I think they have a good squad behind him. Their father, he's worked with him, and he's their main trainer. He's phenomenal with them, and he's brought them a long way. But again, as we say, that's not everybody. You have a couple of good ones and you have a couple of bad ones, out there, and it's hard to just differentiate between, everybody, and to get in and say, well, this is totally bad, and this person over here can make it work and they're okay, but this other person over here is having a hard time with it. It's a gray area to me.
Okay.
It really is. It's a gray area to me.
And I've encountered both in my training. A gym that I used to be affiliated with, there were two kids who were prodigies. One was younger, one was 16. The younger one was a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and everything he touched, he won gold. I mean, if he went out on the mat, you were going to lose. He was a winner. But at 12 or 13, he'd get up off the mat and push the other guy down as he was getting up.
Yeah.
Developing
bad habits.
It was bad habits, and nobody corrected it. Everybody was telling how good he is, and you're a winner, and you're winning, but nobody was there to, hey, knock that off.
Right.
You do that again, you're not competing next week.
Right.
Right.
And that's what in that competing, they're forgetting that teamwork thing and that sportsmanship that we talk about, that we look to gain from martial arts, because every time we talk about martial art, that's one of the chief things that we always talked about is the discipline that came behind it. We said when a kid needed, if he had a problem, right away, hey, he needs to be in martial art. He needs to get somewhere where he learns some discipline and learns how to, react with others, starting off stuff like that, like you said, nobody's there to stop him. And then who was there with him? Was that something this kid went to that he just, put himself in, that he and his family went in? It was just something open? Or was there something there where he had his instructor with him who should have been checking him? But either way, to me, whether it be instructor or parent, if you're a parent and you're following your child through this, then you know what the rules are. You know what the thing. You know what's going on. You know what you expect out of your kid, and you want them to be cordial. And have that team spirit, when they get out there and play. But
not everybody thinks the same way you and I do about how to raise children.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I say it's such a gray area for me.
Yeah. If I see my son doing something like that, he's going to get a knot on his head. I'm old school. My dad was the same way with me.
Right.
I'll thump your head. You're not going to act like that.
I know my family's probably listening to me out here, so you guys know that Dad didn't play, and we came from military families.
Yeah.
And Rich is sitting here next to me, and it's funny. I talked about Paul Rich and kind of introduced you to him, but actually, I've known Rich since I was in 3rd grade. We come from a military family. His sister was my first girlfriend when I was in 3rd grade. That was 3rd grade. This to my wife. That was 3rd grade. Okay, that was in 3rd grade.
This goes back to you want to eat, and you want somewhere to sleep tonight.
I know I love to eat, and I want somewhere to sleep, and I don't want nobody standing over me talking foreign languages to me.
Right.
So I want to elaborate on that. But yeah, we've been together for a few minutes.
It's been a good trip. Been a good adventure. I can really appreciate everything that has been given to us to share, that we've been stewards of.
Definitely that.
We're the wards of right now.
Definitely that. Now, Lance, you talked about your son. I'm going to jump on you about that.
Okay.
Right quick a little
Okay.
bit.